Hey everybody, it's Sean Utarian again here at 1835 Paseo San Luis, which is the Huachuca Art Gallery in Sierra Vista. And you know, everything on the wall here, I just have to remind you of this, is for sale. You can buy it, everything. So come on down and fill up those houses with some absolutely exceptional artwork. Now, you realize that we've done 18 episodes of What's Up at the Huachuca Art Gallery. We've interviewed 33 different artists over that period of time. And I got to be honest with you. Whenever we do one of these shows, I always ask myself, well, you know, are we really reaching anybody? I mean, there's what, 30,000 followers on Cool FM Live? But do we really make an impact? So I'll tell you a little bit of a story. About a month ago, we had a jury for new artists coming in. And when I walked in for my docent obligation, the lady that was there, who had just had her work juried in, approached me and said, "Oh my God, it's you. It's Sean, it's Arizona Yeti. I'm so glad to meet you. I want you to know that you and your show inspired me to gather up my artwork and come here and get juried in, and I was selected today to be a new member, hanging member of the Huachuca Art Gallery." Now, I'll tell you, just like on my Arizona Yeti page, I'm not worried about the 12,000 followers. I'm worried about one. It's that one person that I'm able to inspire, to motivate, to make their day a little bit better than I'm after. I'm not after all 12,000 of you. Same here. We're looking for that one person. Maybe it's you right now who says, you know what, I'm going to get off my duff and I'm going to do just that. I'm going to go to the gallery, I'm going to look around, and I'm going to broadcast my talent and my passion and see what happens. It could be life-changing, or it could just be a lot of fun, a new hobby, but regardless of what your purpose or your intent is, this is a great place to do that. And of course, here we are, another episode, number 19, and I've got a couple more featured artists that I need to interview. We've got a full cast, so I won't pontificate too much. And we'll go right on over here, and I want to introduce you to Helen Lehr. Hey, Helen, how's it going?
Sean. Just fine, thank you.
Well, you know, you've been doing art now for pretty much most of your life, haven't you?
Most of my life. Started in elementary school, straight through college.
Where was that?
I'm a Midwesterner at heart. I was born in Michigan, but raised in Illinois, and went to school at Western Illinois University.
You mean Illinois?
No, Illinois.
Illinois, why's the S at the end of it?
I don't know.
No, that's crazy. So you did art all the way through that, and you taught art as well.
I taught art as well. I taught at a high school in Illinois, and I also taught in Wisconsin after I married, and I taught at vocational and technical schools. Also did a lot of work with summer camps and park and recreation programs. Wow. From preschool to adult education.
And
love those little guys.
So you came all the way down here to sunny Sierra Vista, where you've been for 30 years?
30 years.
Oh my God, trees don't live that long.
No.
Rocks don't live that long. Oh my God, you've been here that long.
Please, you're aging me.
Well, that's incredible. But you haven't just done art with your livelihood. You worked for Bisbee for a while, didn't you?
I did. I was the city clerk for the city of Bisbee for many years, and I worked as the city liaison to the Bisbee Arts Commission at that point in time, which sort of kept my fingers in the art world.
I can see that, yeah.
Did a lot of work in getting artists to donate their work to be auctioned off for scholarships for students that wanted to have a career in art.
So you've seen a lot of growth in this area.
I think so. It's just sort of the way it is.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a much smaller feeling to this community when we first moved here 30 years ago, and it has come out to be an artsy community, just like Bisbee.
Just like Bisbee,
Yeah,
absolutely.
not as quirky.
Not as quirky.
No.
Oh, she called Bisbee quirky. Can you believe that?
Bisbee
Oh my God.
likes to be called quirky. They'll get me.
And
with this.
so what word do you use for tombstone?
Oh, I don't do the tombstone art scene. I've just only been here at the association for a year, so I'm kind of getting back into things. And maybe tombstone is in the future, but at the moment, it's not. I've been there many times, but.
Well, your work on the wall here is focused on watercolor.
That's correct.
And so you also have some photographs here. Of course, that's near and dear to my heart, being a fellow photographer.
That's right.
But you've got several pieces on the wall during this month of September, and let's take a look at a couple of them. What do you say, Helen?
Fine. I like to use photographs as inspiration for what I'm going to paint. I sort of started out in photography and then moved on into watercolor, wanted to do a different art form. And I often take pictures of what is happening in my yard, especially, and work from there. For instance, I know you like this pink rose over here. This is a hot pink rose, and underneath it is a pink rose in a blue dot vase. So while this isn't the exact representation of this particular hot pink rose, I didn't bring that one. You can see that I do use photographs often to inspire me to do something in watercolor. The rabbit that's munching on some grapes up here is taken from a photograph in my backyard at our grapevine, and he was sweet enough to sit there and munch on grapes while I ran inside and got my camera, and that is a watercolor taken from that particular photograph.
And then of course you have the Cooper's hawk here.
Right. He was in my front yard on the fountain, just sort of looking around. It was wonderful that the sun was coming right on his face, on the right side of his face there. And he also was very nice and waited for me to go get my camera. And I just love it when they do that.
Yeah, and as I told you earlier, it reminds me of a famous Minor White quote where he says, regardless of the film speed, spirit always waits on the photographer it's chosen.
That's
so
right.
So there you go. You know what? If that Cooper's hawk had landed on my bird bath and I had to rush in to get my camera, by the time I came out, well, then I'd have a house finch sitting there instead. So
well, take a photo of the house finch.
Yeah, and I do, absolutely. Good. That or hummingbirds.
Yeah.
So you've got several other items up here on the wall as well. Some beautiful work, nice use of color.
Thank you.
And I've got to say, watercoloring is not one of the easiest genres of painting there are, because it has a tendency to run a little bit on you.
Yes, it does.
And it can become a little problematic sometimes.
Yes.
How many times have you started a project and then had to toss it out and start over again?
Well, a few times. I do have a pile of watercolors that I started and then suddenly decided this isn't working.
Yeah.
And that happens. So.
Well, you also have some cards over here.
Yes, I do.
That are available for sale as well. So cards are always a great seller in the gallery because they're nice, compact, and people can just slide it in their purse and walk out.
That's right.
With paying, of course. With paying, okay? Come on now.
You have to keep us honest.
Yeah.
Here, Sean.
Well, you know, all of this stuff is, maybe not all of it, but you also have a wide variety of stuff that you keep on a website, don't you?
Yes, I do. My website is www.wcolorslehrhelen.com.
And
Okay.
it's you also have cards in here.
I think
And yeah, well,
this is really new. Did I do it right? Oh, it's hlehr.com.
well, see, it's a good thing I picked up the cards.
Thank
then.
you so very much.
Yeah, people would be going all over the internet looking for your work and not
Jeez.
finding it.
This is,
There you go.
It's very new. I think maybe a month old, and I'm just getting used to it.
Well, there you go.
You know,
There you
I'm
go.
sort of old school.
Well, you know, if you have only a short-term memory and you can't remember her website address, then get in the car, drive here, and grab a card.
That's a
For
wonderful
crying out
idea.
loud, and it's right there on the card.
Oh, Sean.
Well, Helen,
Yes, dear.
I hope that you have a fabulous Featured Artist Month, but you also have
you.
something coming up this Saturday, don't you?
We sure do.
Yeah.
We'd like to invite everybody to come to the Featured Artist Reception. It'll be Saturday, September 7th. It's from 3 to 5 right here at the Huachuca Art Gallery. Come and see my work, see Naomi's work, and see all the work of all the artists in the gallery.
Absolutely. Which is for sale.
More than welcome. And you can for sure find us off of Avenida Cochise. If you can find Fire Station number 2, you can find Paseo San Luis, and you can find us.
Well, thank you so much for
Thank
spending
you.
the time to talk with us.
Thank you. And I
look forward to
promise
it.
I'll learn my website address better next time.
Good.
Okay.
Good. And learn how to say Illinois properly, please.
No.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the president of the Huachuca Art Association Gallery, Naomi Blackwell.
Only recently.
Only recently, but you are. I mean, we interviewed her last year for her felting, and she was a nobody. Now she's in charge. Not only that, but you're in more than one gallery.
I am. I have my work here, but I've also recently juried into the gallery in Tombstone. And I've been the president of the HAA since, February or so? February, March,
a
something like
good
that.
amount of time. Good amount of time.
It's a learning experience. Let's call it that.
So if you're thinking that the gallery is only composed of old fogies like me, then just take a look. We have youthful, vibrant leadership in this gallery that fully understands what you youngins are going through and be able to help you stumble your way into our gallery and get your stuff on the wall. So don't be afeared. But, you know, you've been doing felting now ever since I've known you, and that's been 5 years.
That's been 5 years, and I was probably needle felting a good 5 years before that, too.
Mm-hmm.
I recently did the math, and I've been doing it a long time.
A long time. But you've improved over time.
Oh, yeah. If you could see my first piece, you'd laugh. I laugh. Whenever I see it, I go... Right.
Well, you know, when you walk up to the Featured Artist Nook, one of the first things that you see is a brilliant flash of color. And that's because your centerpiece right here with the reds and the yellows, well, this is a brilliant way of kind of saying what you've been saying about the improvement of your felting over years, but this goes another step farther. Tell us about that.
So this piece, actually, I was originally working on as an entry into our open show back in February. And I had given myself a relatively tight timeline as to when I wanted to have it done. That didn't happen. Because the reason this piece looks like it does is actually because my initial plan for making these long flight feathers completely fell through because my materials were fighting me. I intended to make them out of wool. I intended to make them with a twisted wire center and then starch the wool into place. I estimated it would take me maybe a day to get those squared away so I could work on the rest of the piece. My wire kept breaking. My wool would not lay down in the configuration I wanted it. I spent an hour trying to make it work before I was ready to pull my hair out. And then I decided I need to try a different approach. So what these actually wound up being is what is called stumpwork embroidery, which is a kind of 3D embroidery. It relies on a wire frame sewed down onto a fabric backing that is then filled in with embroidery stitches in order to get the visual effect that you want. And it's then cut away from the backing and installed into whatever piece it was intended for. rather than a day. These 6 feathers took me 7, but hey, it got done in the end anyway.
And what you aren't saying, but is that you had to learn how to do this.
I did, yes. I wasn't big on embroidery before this. I kind of had to teach myself.
So you taught yourself how to do this for this project, and now you have a new skill set.
Well, yeah, and I've actually kind of been getting into embroidery lately. There's something called gold work embroidery, which is a embroidery style that uses metal threads and metal components on fabric, and that's actually what part of these bottom embellishments are. This is something called bullion wire, which is a very tightly coiled wire that is then used kind of like a tube, and you cut it to length and sew it down over padding to get that dimensional metallic effect.
So in this case, failure was a stepping stone to broadening your horizons.
Yeah,
so there is no such thing as failure, really.
Not really.
All there is a lesson learned, and then you create a whole new reinvention of approaching something. And the one thing that I remember from our last interview is that you don't go out and buy stock items in order to plug and play. You actually create stuff, like an eyeball, for example. You'll create that.
As much as I can, yes.
Right.
For example, the beak I sculpted the beak out of polymer clay. I didn't have like a beak component for this bird. I made all of my wireframes for my stump work embroidery. I did have to buy the beads for the beading on the bottom.
Oh, you didn't make the beads? You didn't like roll them in your hand with clay or something?
I'm no glass blower. But I do spend a lot of time kind of holding up hanks of beads to things and deciding which one looks best.
Well, it's a beautiful piece of artwork right here. And you've got a lot here. I mean, one thing that people always gravitate towards, I was saying earlier, are the spiders. What's up with the spiders?
So recently, just with as much time as I've been spending driving around kind of the Sierra Vista countryside, I guess, I've been thinking that, maybe focusing more on natural subjects rather than just fantasy creatures wouldn't be the worst idea in the world.
You mean like this?
Yes. So I do a lot of, creatures from storybooks, but recently I've decided, real birds aren't so bad. But one thing that I've been doing a lot is these little spiders. They're modeled after tarantulas as far as their body proportions go. I call them woolly weavers. And there's actually a couple of reasons for that. One being that tarantulas are the one spider I can stand without them giving me the heebie-jeebies, because they're big enough that you can see them coming. And another one being that spiders in particular, but invertebrates in general, so bugs, beetles, scorpions, are actually a really good subject to make into a 3D piece of art because they're segmented. And anything you're trying to make where you're trying to make it a semblance of something real that's recognizable, you kind of have to understand how to break it down first and how to get the shapes of it right. And with bugs, half your work's done for you. They're very, very distinct components that go together to form the whole.
Well, now, felting isn't the only thing that you do, obviously. You also do jewelry.
I do jewelry.
So wire wrapping here, and just... again, this is one of those things that you've been developing over time and getting better and better and better and better at it.
I'd say so. I'd like to think so. But I've been wire wrapping for probably about 3-4 years now with any kind of regularity.
Well, if you take a look at the intricacy of how the wire is wrapped and swirled and captures the gems that you have within its holdings, it's just a remarkable job that you've been able to accomplish this in such a short period of time. Some people take years and years to master this sort of work. You've been able to do it, well, in 3-4 years, so that's pretty incredible. What you don't have on the wall, and I want to address, because I look over your shoulder from time to time when you're here at the desk, and you're sketching away, and my jaw drops, and I say to myself, "My God, why doesn't she have this stuff in the gallery on the wall? This is amazing work." Because your sketch work is just incredible. So tell us when you're going to finally,
get some more stuff
Madam
on the
President, get some stuff on the wall.
as soon as I have finished my latest batch of 3D art that I need to get done, I'll probably do some more paperwork.
So you're swamped, is what you're saying.
Just a little. Sadly, as much as I love felting, it's not an art for the impatient. It takes a long time, even when you get relatively fast at it.
I can see that. But you also have some cards here
Yes.
of a particular style of something other than felting.
Yes, so I have recently been dabbling in lino printing, which is where you take a linoleum block and you carve away bits of it until you have an image that you can then use much like a stamp to make versions of. So this centerpiece is a lino block I carved, and then I have several different iterations of that same image that I then went back in and embellished and collaged together, because I never do things the easy way. So it's been a fun thing to learn, and it's good for things like cards where you need a lot of the same image, but you don't want to, just take a photo and print it off. So
that, but this definitely represents the skill you have with more than just the felting and the jewelry. So it's a little bitty window into the other talents that you have, and that you're broadening out to hopefully get on the walls here sometime.
Hopefully.
But,
I collect hobbies like other people collect, little tchotchkes that go on shelves or bags or shoes.
Well, when you have all of this mega responsibility such as you do, being in charge of the gallery for now, an elected official, being in 2 galleries, which by the way I am too in Tombstone, and doing all of that simultaneously is like juggling, I'm sure. Just a little bit. You almost didn't make it to the interview today because you were busy juggling.
Just a little bit late.
Okay. I was almost going to have to take out a pool on when Naomi was going to show up. So anyhow, as always, it's wonderful. Your work is fantastic.
Thank you.
And thanks for the interview. And I'm going to wander away from you, Naomi. Thanks for the time. And we're going to wander on over here, folks. Again, look at this. Just pan around and take a look at everything on the wall here. It's just incredible. I mean, where else would you rather be? Probably art in the park. But we'll talk about that here in a few moments. Before we talk about art in the park, however, I want to get with my buddy here and talk about upcoming events for the month of September, which we happen to already be in. So it's September 5th as we're filming this. So Teresa, I know, it's crazy. Football season starts tonight officially. That's why I'm wearing my Bills cap. So yeah, it's already football season, folks. What do we got going on besides watching football?
On September 14th, we have an alcohol inks class with Darlene. On the 21st, we have 2 things going on. We have a scented gel air freshener class.
A what?
With scented gel air freshener class. You're going to make air fresheners.
Well, that'd be a nice, refreshing class to go through.
That's what it said on the paperwork anyway.
Okay, that's cool.
And then that's going to be with Lisa Tabor.
Okay.
And also on the 21st, we have, I hope I pronounce this right, cyanotype with Nathan. And just call the gallery at any time for more information on any of our classes and workshops that we have, because things sometimes don't get all the info put in here, and we'll get you all hooked up with that. On weekends, we have plein air painting. It's free, no cost. It just depends on how the weather is. So they obviously probably don't want to do it if you have risk of blowing away or if it's going to get soaked. So call Nathan for more info if you have any questions on that. On every Tuesday, we have kids classes. I believe it's from 4 to 5 with Nathan. And
Nathan's busy, isn't he?
he is a busy bee.
I'll tell you what, those kids classes, they are perking up. I mean, there are people that are buying like blocks of his classes to get their kids into. So they don't pay every week. They buy a whole block. And he's really making an impression on those young kids and inspiring them to discover their artistic side. So it's worth it. He's a good instructor. Go ahead.
And then we also, on every Tuesday, we have our oil painting classes with Joanne Berry. And then on every Sunday, Nathan again does
when
a
does he have
drawing
time to
class.
sleep?
And that's for pretty much anybody that wants to attend. So please call the gallery again for more info on these classes. And then on the 28th, I just found out, we have a digital still life with Amanda. Mm-hmm. And you just need to bring your tablet and $15 for the workshop. And she'll teach you how to create beautiful paintings on a tablet. And then I would love to invite everybody that wants to be a member but doesn't want to necessarily display in our gallery to come and become a member and join us in Open Studio. It's every Thursday and Friday from 11 to 4, and it's just a good way to hang out with artists. Sometimes we get a lot of painting done, sometimes we get more talking done, but it's a fun, happy atmosphere, and we'd love for you to come and join us. Whether you want to be in the gallery or not, you can become a member and join us in Open Studio.
And it's also a way for you to feel out whether or not you have that desire, that passion to do this. And you'll have a wealth of experience at your side. People are more than willing to help critique your work and so on.
Yeah,
so,
and that's what these workshops and classes are good for too.
Yeah.
If you want to dabble into something new and adventurous, try out a new medium, it's a good way to do it.
What a great month we have ahead of us. Bravo. I mean, Lois Bravo over here is going. Guess what?
Art in the Park is 1 month away.
Oh, my God.
And one of the things, Sean is showing you the flyer there, and I want to point out that we have a thing here at the bottom about no political solicitation in the park. So I want to make sure that it stays a neutral environment of enjoying purchasing art and all the great things that we have for sale. Also, please don't bring your dog. So unless it's a service dog, yes. So as you can see on his little sheet here, we have like apparel, we have photography, we have paintings, we have people who create cups, or we have somebody that's going to create little hummingbirds, silver little hummingbirds that they write on site. And so we have a lot of new artists this year. I have only 145, but that's plenty for the size of the park. And so I'm excited about having new people and new talent, because it makes it fresh every year. They don't know what's on there, so they get to come and explore. Also, remember that Art in the Park has a Facebook page, Sierra Vista. You have to put Art in the Park Sierra Vista. And you can go on there and you can scroll down all the pieces. There's little tiny pieces that the people are bringing, and you can say, oh, I would like that picture on my wall. And so that's going to be fun for you ahead of time. Write down the booth number, and then if you can't find it in the park, come to our information booth, and we'll be happy to direct you to where that number is so that you can have fun shopping. We have 12 food booths, so you have a place to eat lunch or brunch, and also there's a new coffee shop in town. And they're going to come and make coffee and have pastry, because some of the vendors last year were complaining that none of the food vendors made coffee. So they're going to make coffee, and they just signed up, and so I'm really excited because then I can let vendors know you don't have to try to go off-site to find coffee to get your jolt in the morning.
Outstanding.
Is that it?
Oh, is that it? Are you
I
done?
guess.
I did not want to stop you. You were going on such a good roll there. Oh my goodness.
Well, one thing
Yep.
that you didn't mention is this is put on by the Huachuca Art Association membership. So if you're a member and you would like to volunteer and help out this dear lady on the big day, or the big weekend rather,
Yeah,
We
I
can
need
use it.
volunteers.
Contact her.
Yes,
We can use it.
because
We can use
it helps keep this gallery alive. It supports the gallery. It's our fundraiser to have a gallery and keep the prices down.
And you don't need to know anything about art.
No, and people can't wait. I mean, there's people are going, oh, I can't wait, because it's the annual thing that they do. Shoot.
Well, there you go. I think that those are the closing credits to this month's episode. That's the closing theme. And the best thing I can say to end it all is as the song goes, I don't remember. So we'll just leave it at that. Thanks for showing up for another episode, the 18th, 19th episode, now 35 artists interviewed, and I'll see you again next month, right here at 1835 Paseo San Luis in Sierra Vista, Arizona.
sorry.